This is Independent Voice, and I'm Mamme. Welcome to our space.
Thank you, everyone, for being here. My name is Yoftahe Mulatu Gabru. I am an Ethiopian American, and I have served in the United States military service for 6 years as a medic. So everything that we're going to talk about today is going to be a personal concern to me as an American and also as an Ethiopian. And we talk about Ethiopia right now, most of you may be understanding it being divided as an ethnic group. And that also personally affects me. My mom is from Tigray and my dad is from the Amhara region. And I have a grandfather also from Eritrea. So everything that happens in Ethiopia personally affects me. So when I'm here trying to moderate this and then asking all of you to join us, I'm telling you personally how it affects me as a person. So with everything that you are, what you have taken, and you are here listening to all of us, I thank you very much for taking the time to listen to us. This is a very important topic, and the request or the ask that we have here today, as you listen to all that's being shared today, please listen first as a politician, as you are being elected and representing the people. You have the power to change what we are about to share with you. Everything that's happening right now, people are dying on the ground, and everything that you do when you walk out of this Zoom is going to make a difference. You have the power to change it. You have the power of the voice. You have the microphone. You have the position to be able to make a difference with everything that we share here with you all. And please listen also as parents, as mothers, as sisters, as brothers, because people are dying. And American foreign policy does affect everything that happens in the world. So please do not take it lightly. President Biden right now is making a huge mistake on who is aligning to. With TPLF, we consider definitely being a terrorist. And we know who TPLF is. It's not someone new. It's not an organization that is new. Leading Ethiopia for 27 years. And all you have to do is Google it, what they have done, how many killings that they have done, what they have stolen, and who they are is clear in the open. Ethiopians protested. Ethiopians said enough of 27 years, and they finally were able to remove them from power. And after 3 years, President Biden is trying to bring them back to power. We're not asking for you to take side. We're asking you to stand by the truth, to make the difference. And we know what's in the making. We know how wars are made. Right now, you all need to be able to understand war is being declared on Ethiopia. President Biden decided to support the terrorist group TPLF, and now his narrative, and he's choosing CNN as an example to share the narrative that they want to tell the taxpayers. They are creating a narrative and a story on how the TPLF is something that needs to come back to power. We want you to listen. We want you to dig in. You have the power to assign a staff member to find out about the truth. Don't align us. Don't listen to us. But today, even if there is one thing that you are able to do and says, I'm going to find out the truth. I'm not just going to follow the news media, and I'm not just going to trust what the Biden administration is doing right now. Foreign policy affects all of us. We are part of this world. It affects me personally, and I want you to have that connection. And when I'm talking about Ethiopia, I want you also to please listen to me the way you listen to a Jewish American when they say, I'm concerned about Israel. It doesn't make them less American. I'm as an American as it comes, and I served in the military for that. But today, I'm telling you, everything that you do when you walk out from here, people are dying on the ground, and you have the power to change it. Please do not go back to bed and saying, I attended a meeting, but there is one thing we're going to ask you. Please use your voice, please your platform to oppose what President Biden is doing and declaring war on Ethiopia and destabilizing 110 million people. This is very emotional. This is very personal. And I'm hoping you will make it personal when you walk out of here. So once again, thank you for being here. My name is Yoftahe. I'll be moderating as we go on. We have several guests, and thank you all for being here. First, I'm going to introduce Priscilla. Thank you for being here and organizing and helping us to bring all these people that we see on the platform. So I'm going to give you the platform so that you can introduce who we are here, and then we'll take it from there. So once again, thank you for being here, and thank you for listening.
Thank you, Yeftahe. Thank you for your leadership. So just so my colleagues that are candidates know how we got here, Mame and I have become friends. We've done a panel before elevating the female voices of Ethiopian women and really just encouraging them to get involved in their community. And she called me about just a week ago, very, very upset about what's happening in Ethiopia. She's been very involved in the community and is using her voice, just like all of you are using your voice to stand up for the things that you believe in. And so there has been a great movement within the Ethiopian community, and it started in Virginia. And they saw the numbers of Ethiopians who turned out and voted for Governor Youngkin, and they're paying attention to which politicians are listening to their voices. And so we came up with this idea to have this panel and to bring Republican candidates to the table to hear from the Ethiopian community, straight from them, about what is important to them, because all of you who are running for office, whether you're running for federal or local office, have a voice, just like Yeftahe just expressed. First, I want to thank our chairwoman, Christy Burton Brown, who's driving around the state and doing an amazing job connecting with Colorado. And so we want you to stay safe. And so we want to thank you for jumping on this call. And even though you're so busy, thank you for being on this call, and for all of the candidates. So quickly, I'm just going to go based on who I see on the screen. We have Deborah Flora, who's running for U.S. Senate. Eric Odlin, who's also running for U.S. Senate, Ron Hanks, who's running for U.S. Senate, Jules Gray, who's running for House of Representatives in the new CD8, Peter Yu, who's running for U.S. Senate, Jason Presley, who's running for Commissioner, am I right? Commissioner in Arapahoe County, Laurel Eimer, who's running for Representative in CD7. We have Steve Noblet, who is running for El Paso Sheriff, and Lori Sane, who is running for U.S. Senate. If you're an attendee, if you could remember these names and remember who's showing up, who's listening, because we need to get behind Republican candidates who care about the community. And I will also say, you need to hold the Republican Party accountable for what we promised to you to listen today. Please do not just take our word for it, but we need you to vote for Republican candidates and then hold Republican candidates accountable. Call them, email them, invite them to your community events, and ask them to come and listen to you. And that is our commitment to you. And I will also share with Mame to send out to everybody our commitment to Colorado, so that those of you who live in Colorado will know what we're promising and what we're going to deliver to you. But we have people actually calling in from Ethiopia on this call from all over the world, because this is, it's amazing to see the Ethiopian community all come together. And it's a great model and a reminder for us. So the power of collective voice in something that they feel is important. So there'll be time for, first we're going to learn and we're going to listen, and they're going to give us their ask. And there'll be time for you if you have any questions, and then please follow up with the organizers if you want to come specifically and speak to their community.
Thank you very much for that introduction. And once again, thank you very much for being here. So we do appreciate you, and you do have the voice like Priscilla said, so that's why we are here. The next person I'm going to introduce is from EPDN leadership.
Thank you. Well, I get to introduce Ethiopian Public Diplomacy Network, EPDN. I get to also chair this amazing group of people who came together based on out of a need. Honestly, when the conflict broke out, we got together, we went into first meeting, we never left, we're still there. So EPDN is a coalition of Ethiopian Americans comprised of volunteer representatives of community members, civic groups, community-based and or nonprofit organizations, faith-based organizations, and other organized groups that align with the objective of the EPDN, and you will find out what that is. Obviously, one of the things that we do is what we're doing right now, town hall meetings, educating others, and getting our messages out. Presently, the group represents several states and the West Coast region. Actually, we do have about 11 chapters, and we do have quite a lot of members that are dedicated to what we do. Our objective is to advocate for fair, balanced, fact-based, and unbiased information exchange to foster diplomatic and public relations to maintain a lasting diplomacy among the Ethiopian Americans, Ethiopian Eritreans in the U.S. and between the U.S. and the Ethiopian government. Our long-term vision is to develop diplomatic network opportunity among African and European allies for social, economic, and geopolitical partnerships. Our area of focus are advocacy. We want fair, balanced, fact-based information exchange, advancement of growth opportunity and sustainability, supportive and unbiased relationship between the U.S. and Ethiopia. The second focus we have is public relations. Foster positive public diplomacy, sustain diplomatic relationship between the European American diaspora and the US, as well as the Ethiopian government, and promote accurate image of Ethiopia. Absolutely. The third and the last focus that we have is community mobilization and resource development. And that's exactly what we're trying to do and what we had done today to be able to mobilize our community and be in front of you guys. Engage the Ethiopian community to create a stronger synergy, mobilize the community members and create a forum for exchange of information and human resources, create a platform for underrepresented groups within the Ethiopian community, such as youth and women. So this is really who EPDN is. We're very committed. We get to work with a lot of dedicated people and passionate people about what's happening in Ethiopia to the people of Ethiopia. And the work continues. So like I said, from the first meeting, we never left. We're still here we are. And the work will continue. So thank you for giving me the opportunity to introduce an amazing group.
Thank you, Mame. We appreciate you for that introduction. So another thing that a group that I'm working on is called the United for Brighter Ethiopia. We're a group of citizens all over the state that came together and then said, what can we do as citizens to help back home and also unite between not only the culture, but what the American value is, pretty much back also connecting it back to Ethiopia. Just like anything else, like I was my introduction, like I said, America has given me so much personally and so much for all of us. It's one of the greatest nations that all of us are proud to call ourselves American. But at the same time, what American does, we need to be able to know, because in order as an Americans to not only carrying that passport and traveling the world, there is a name, there is value, there is proudness that comes with it, depending on what we do and how we treat the rest of the world. So everything starts here. Everything starts with elected personnel that we have, because those foreign policy do matter on how Americans can benefit from anything else that happens around the world. So when we come in together, we're trying to promote peace. We're trying to be above any kind of ethnic violence that's being divided. So we are here just presenting ourselves as United for Brighter Ethiopia to make sure that we bring, because there's so much value that we want to take from America and then be able to produce it around the world. But one of the things that all of us have to be accountable for, just like we discussed earlier, we have started as Americans, and then all of us can be honest, so many wars that afterward we came in and said, I wish I had more information. I wish we didn't get involved. I wish I knew more before destabilizing that country. And this is in a position where you are in right now, where you don't have to say, I wish I have done something, because right now, currently in the present tense, you will be able to do something about it, because everything that's being fed in the media is definitely a lot of lies, and then trying to create that war, and then we don't want any of us to wake up tomorrow morning and President Biden come in and gives us a soundbite of 30 minutes why he's going to war with Ethiopia. To protect who? We don't know. So today, you need to be able to ask President Biden, before spending another American life, before spending any taxpayers' money, who is he supporting? So that's why we are here for that voice, so that you are able to ask before you can say tomorrow and say, I wish, before saying, so that you don't have to be in a position to say, I wish. Today, you are able to make that decision. Today, you are able to stand up and say, at least hold on, pause. Let's find out more. And then once we have all the facts, then we can do whatever necessary needs to be done. So with that, I will just go to the next person. I'm going to come back to you, Mame, to do your presentation.
So thank you again. It is an absolute honor and a privilege to have the opportunity to speak in the presence of the Colorado Republican Party's chairman, vice chairman, and members of the party at last. To our community members, guests, and friends of Ethiopia, I would like to extend my heartfelt gratitude and admiration for your stamina and determination. Thank you for all that you do for the country and the people of Ethiopia. And thank you to our guests for being here and listening to us. We needed to be heard, and we're hoping and counting on you guys that you would hear us. We have had several opportunities to partner with our elected officials in many aspects at a different juncture. Today, we are at a crossroad and at a very critical place. And we meet again. What makes this gathering that much more important to us is that we as a community have learned and learned the hard way. We're wiser and we're ready to be heard. So hear us. Whatever it takes, we are ready to be heard. Most of all, we are united. And this challenge that is before us has become our opportunity to unite. Instead of divide, we're united. We're united for one Ethiopia. And that is the bottom line for us. The thing that is actually driving us and the driving force behind all of it is wanting to make sure that Ethiopia stays to be a sovereign country and united. We're convinced that not everybody knows the truth. And apparently, as you all know, and you've been hearing it this afternoon, the Biden administration does not have ears for us at all. November 4th of last year, the TPLF actually instigated and started the whole conflict. They attacked the northern military force, unbeknownst to them. They lived together. They were in their barracks together. They ate together. They slept together. They did everything together that day, like the usual, except at some point they turned right around and turned against them, and they just slaughtered them while they were asleep. That it didn't end there. Their leaders so proudly, unapologetically saying, yeah, this is what we did. We asked the military if they were going to side with us, and those that did that said, no, we were going to stand for the country. This is what we're here for. Yeah, they were slaughtered. You know what they did afterwards? They actually disrobed them, and then they defecated on them, and they left them for the elements. Yeah, that is the kind of group that this administration is so adamant about supporting. Ethiopia finally registered TPLF as a terrorist group just last year. The American government actually had TPLF registered as a terrorist group a long time ago. For whatever reason, now we're pushing for that terrorist group to be sitting across the table with a government, officially elected government, and negotiate. That's what's happening. The Maikadra killing, so many of the killings. TPLF would go out there, and yes, they've been planning this for 27 years. Yes, they've been robbing the country blind, so they have a ton of money. All that money that went to help the country and the poor did not go there. The last 27 years, they did nothing but prepare for this day. So there is no accident. Oops, somebody was going to do something to us, so we did something. That wasn't. This was a planned attack. To this day, we're finding mass graves. Who do you think that did that? This government hasn't been there but 3 years. The last 27 years, though, this administration, the TPLF leadership, honestly, in the facade of being an Ethiopian government, has done atrocious stuff. That's the kind of background we've been trying to really speak to people and allow people to understand and know. Okay, we left the country. Everyone left the country. I am one of them. So many of us are witnesses. The reason why we left the country is because we couldn't live with TPLF. There were the reasons for us even coming over here. And now we have an administration that we 100% can stand behind. The Biden's administration wouldn't have none of it, would just not have it. 27 years of atrocity, they would like to continue supporting that. Over and over, the administration issued statements. We are deeply concerned. We are deeply concerned. The Ethiopian government must stop. We are deeply concerned. They have to allow for unfeathered, unchecked, and whatever kind of access for humanitarian access. You know what they were finding? Guns. We're dedicated and committed to see that Ethiopia stays to be Ethiopia and united in one and sovereign country. The government of Ethiopia, the current administration, has spent billions of Ethiopian birr in the region of Tigray. You turn right around and what we hear is we're deeply concerned. The Ethiopian government needs to do this. So what did that do? TPLF was emboldened to do more because this administration was behind them. The Ethiopian government said enough killing. Civilians, innocent people are dying. Okay, we're going to stop this so that TPLF could actually take time and think about what it is that they're doing. This current administration's effort was to try and save lives. Truth is, no, the Ethiopian government did not start the conflict. The Ethiopian government had to defend, had to take military action against the military action. We are trying to fight the narrative. Okay. The rest of the world is looking at and listening to the false narrative and buying it without even questioning it. Except Ethiopia needs to feed its people before it feeds the media. We don't have 27 years worth of money that was being set aside. The TPLF dished it out because they have been actually robbing the country. Yes, the US has been supporting Ethiopia, and we're not taking that away. We're not being ungrateful. We are grateful. As much as we're willing to protect Ethiopia and fight for Ethiopia, as Americans, we're willing and ready to fight for this country. We're just saying things are not right. We do not want to see a repeat of Libya in Ethiopia. So when we say this, and if we get a little bit emotional, you have to forgive us because it just got to be too much. The reason why it got to be too much is because they kept listening and hearing the current administration, Biden's administration, issuing statement after statement, threatening sanctions after sanctions. We were never asked as a community members to say, hey, by the way, you're being accused of this. What do you got to say about that? We were willing to actually say what's wrong is wrong, what's right is right. But no, we didn't get that opportunity. It is fake news. It's propaganda. It's been bought. There is no merit to it. Bottomless. It's just TPLF putting out so much money into it. Here is why we're in front of you. We realized the fight is not just our fight. We realized as the GOP, as the Republican Party, we have some common issues that we can talk about as Ethiopian Americans. And we're not just talking to you about just Ethiopians. As Ethiopian Americans, we are Americans. We're also Ethiopians. There are some common issues that we would like to join hands with you. Your issues are ours. Your agendas are ours. I'm sure if I say we do not want to see another American go to war and die, I think you agree with that. There are enough Ethiopians dying in Ethiopia. We do not need Americans to go to Africa or Ethiopia and come back in a body bag. We are not interested in starting another war. We just pulled out of Afghanistan not too long ago. Our administration is threatening to send peace troops to Ethiopia, a proxy war. We know there is an agenda behind it, and we don't want to deal with that. This administration is using our tax money to encourage a terrorist group. We are not okay with our values being put to question. We're not okay for the integrity and the sovereignty of Ethiopia to be put in a question. We're saying this is an African issue, an African solution. Are we saying we don't need the help? No. We're just asking, not this kind of interference, not when you're not willing to listen to the facts and truths. The callous statement that has been put out by this administration is causing issues, and we want you to hear us, and we want our voice to be added with yours, your voice added with us, and say enough already. This is it. We can't go anymore. Not anymore. And you would hear us say this, #no more. We're not going to be ignored. We're not going to be set aside. No more false narrative. No more fake propaganda. No more. We're just not going to listen to you. We're going to do whatever it is that we want to do. So we called you to say, we think we have a common ground. We think we have some common agenda with you guys. Are you willing to add our voice to yours? Because we're willing to add ours with yours and say, this is wrong, and then go do something about it. So I know this is not necessarily how I planned this thing, but it just went this way. I hope what I said makes sense. This is only the beginning of this kind of meeting. We would love to have an ongoing dialogue. We're not just going to walk away from this meeting and not have another conversation. So thank you so very much for listening.
Thank you, Mame. I see there is a hand raised, Senator Edland. So let me give you the floor, please. Thank you.
Thank you. Not a senator yet, but candidate for U.S. Senate.
Candidate. Okay, there you go.
Thank you. I'm really pleased to be here with you today. Having served in Afghanistan, I want to avoid war at all costs, and my heart breaks for what's going on in Ethiopia. My question is what do you think the motive is for the Biden administration to be supporting the TPLF? And then second part, how have you seen the policy change from the Trump administration to the Biden administration?
Very good question. So the same question that you're asking, we're going to be throwing it back at all of you, because you'll have more the power, the stuff, and everything to try to find out why this is happening. One thing that we can tell you with dealing with TPLF, that's not something new, because they've been in power for 27 years. During that time, they did build a relationship with those current administration at that time, with money and everything else. And as you all know, we cannot be naive in here. Lobbyists make a lot of things happen in this world. TPLF has so much US dollar right now in their bank in the US right here. And they have been able to buy, I hate to say it, politicians, and I hate to say the power. So even if that's one of the questions that you want to ask, where this money is coming from, who is funding this lobbyist going in and pushing this agenda, I'm hoping that's the kind of question that you're going to go back and ask for. Because for 27 years, all the money that has been taken, when the country is going downhill, those people, the TPLF leaders, had so much money. Even the leader was put on Forbes magazines having money. So those money come in and they are being funded. We can show you screenshot after screenshot. When the new government came in, a lot of money being laundered through GoFundMe, through TPLF support, calling it Tigray support. They came in and converted those money into GoFundMe. Now they are taking those monies and using it to fund those lobbyists. So whoever is taking that money, follow the money, and we're going to ask you for you're supposed to find what was being funded and who is benefiting from this. Sorry for interrupting. Go ahead.
Was there a shift in policy from the Trump administration to the Biden administration? How was the Trump administration responding to Ethiopia?
So you all heard, for example, one of the biggest conflict we had with the Biden with the Trump administration was when it came to the Ethiopian dam. I don't know how many of you have heard Ethiopia is creating a dam power to create a superpower. So that is being funded. And Egypt was one of the country that was being against the Ethiopian government. And then during that time, Egypt was also receiving support from the US administration. And there was a call, I don't know, one of you heard it, where Trump came in and said to the Egyptian, why don't you go and bomb Ethiopia? That's being recorded what President Trump said at that moment. So we were against that, because we were trying to see Ethiopia is trying to get out of poverty by creating this dam. Why don't you leave it there? So you all know pretty much how much foreign policy changed between Republican administration and Democrats. We're not here to preach any of you, because you understand the undertaking, what does happen, or how much the US policy shift in it. The only thing we can tell you right now, a lot of people are dying. And then we know the writing in the wall when, because of Libya, Afghanistan, or anywhere else, the administration decides to do something or get involved in a country. And then the next thing that we know, the news media pick up whoever they align with, they come in and give them a narrative that repeat after day after. And then all of us know, most of Americans, myself included, sometimes we take the news, we hear it, and then we take 15 minutes or 10 seconds off it and we make out our opinion. And then the next day, the president comes in and says, I'm declaring war, I'm getting involved in this country. And we believe everything that we have heard because we have not done our research. That's why we are here to ask you to do that research, to try to find out so that we don't come in and say, why did we do this? Where did the money come from? Why did the Biden administration involved so much and then trying to destroy another country? We want you to investigate with that, and we will stand with the truth. We're not here to tell you take our side. Let's stand by the truth. Let's investigate. And let's tell the Biden administration, why are you so much against Ethiopia? And where is the money coming from? Who are the lobbyists involved pushing this agenda? And I see Representative Ron raising your hand, and after that, I see Laura. So let me go first.
Thank you, Yoftahe. I appreciate the opportunity to talk on this. I put in a chat off to the side that, it's probably no secret to anybody on the call here. American foreign policy needs a major overhaul. And I think it needs a country by country and then continent by continent review. Joe Biden has been a disaster in foreign policy his entire 40-something career years in the Congress and in the White House. I know I'm sure you know this, but his own party laughs at him about his mistake-prone positions, and even his Barack Obama made the comment that Biden has the ability to screw things up, and it's a remarkable ability. So we should get in the Senate here, the U.S. Senate in this case, and start tearing down our foreign policy piece by piece and country by country. Unfortunately, Horn of Africa isn't always the center point. So what I'd like to ask you and Mame about is what's next as far as your policy and kind of your outreach? Where do we go for more of this on a more frequent basis? Thank you.
So one thing I want to say, as you all know, it's very hard to make an appointment, call it, to have an audience with all of you. You all have busy agendas, and then trying to get to the right people to try to push the agenda. We need your help because we may be screaming as much as we can, but you have the power and the platform to be able to say, I need the floor, and this is what's happening in Ethiopia. I may not know everything that's happening, but I know there is some questions that we need to ask before we ask the American money to be spent anywhere else. So if you can find a way to pause everything that President Biden is doing right now and pushing, and then you take the time to find out the truth, you assign staff to find out the truth, and then you tell us, actually, I agree with President Biden, they need to go do this. I'm telling you, I will be with you. But right now, we ask you, with the power that you have, with the floor that you have, with the voice that you have, to say, President Biden, you're getting too involved. I don't have enough information to give you my support or allow you to have Americans go die or allow you to spend $1 of American money to go in and destroy another country. So that's why we are here to ask about it.
Right. Just to add to that, from our side, what it is that we could do also is for you guys to reach out to us and for us to prepare a forum like this, to have a dialogue, to be able to have even longer time. We would like to continue to provide this kind of dialogue, listen to you guys, ask us questions, and we will do the best that we can to at least present you with the facts that we have with the information. So this is what we can. We can be a conduit to you in saying, when it's wrong, trust me, we're willing to say it's wrong. What we can do to help is really to be that bridge, to create a forum where you guys can ask questions and we can provide information. But then places and areas that we have no access to and we don't have any listening ear, for you guys to be our voice and say, no, this is not what we heard. You have no idea how many times we went to meetings, we said some things and they're like, wow, that's not what we heard. We heard completely something different. So what we can do for you really is to have a forum. Today, just a few of us are talking to you. Moving forward, 1, 2, or 3, all of you together, we can actually spend more time and have a little bit more dialogue. I think that's how we can support you.
Okay, so just in line of order, I have Deborah, Laurel, Lori, and Peter. So I'll go in that order.
Thank you. Thank you so much. And I want to thank you, first of all, for organizing this. And Yoftahe, thank you for your service. Mame, thank you for what you've done. And I just want to apologize that from my conversations I've already had with Mame, the Republican Party has not listened the way we should have previously. And I do appreciate Priscilla arranging this and Christy Burton Brown. And I think many of us here would say that will never happen again. We share so much in common in values, both in faith and our founding principles and the understanding of the dignity of work, the sanctity of life, the right to self-determination. And what is happening in Ethiopia breaks my heart. I appreciate your making us aware of it. I wanted to ask a couple of questions because I know that Mike Kaufman, when he was the representative for Aurora, and I'm from Aurora originally, my father served in the Air Force and I was there on Lowry Air Force Base. He did stand up with a resolution. And I think I want to know if that would also be part of the solution because HR 128. And I believe that you all really supported him in that, which was good. Another thing I wanted to ask is because I watched the video of Secretary of State Blinken in Kenya, which was outrageous, absolutely outrageous, to be asking a rightfully elected government to make peace without any qualifications with a terrorist organization. As we know, by the way, the Biden administration refers to the Taliban as partners. It's kind of, and he refers to American parents as domestic terrorists. So he's got everything upside down and backwards. The other question I have is understanding the lay of the land in Africa when he's there in Kenya. And I'm not sure if you were saying that Kenya is receiving funds. So we can have a clear understanding of the environment there in Africa around Ethiopia, who is friendly to your cause, who perhaps is bending to this administration and American dollars. I'd love to get a little landscape there. And thank you. Thank you again for making us aware and breaking our hearts because it's important.
Thank you. Unfortunately, or fortunately, in certain circumstances, if America goes in and say to a country, I need your support on this, and whoever is the president will follow America wherever, because America has more influence than any other country, as you know. So whoever the leader is will follow whatever Americans. So America is pushing. And right now we know, and you will be able to find out, the Biden administration has been given satellite support to the TPLF military. They are supporting them and guiding them where they need to go. You will hear stories. There were so many trucks that were allowed to go in to support as humanitarian aid. And they left all those trucks in the land of Tigray and they left. And then when asked what happened, how come you left all those trucks in there? They said, we ran out of fuel. They didn't run out of fuel. They left it to support TPLF so that TPLF can transport their troops back and forth with those vehicles. We do know all of this is happening. We will give you the outline. We will give you the step-by-step. I think someone said there was the fact sheet that we have downloaded in there that you will be able to give it to you.
Yeah.
All we're asking you in here, we understand how busy you are. There is you can download it and then it give you pretty much a fact on it. All we're asking in here in an hour, 2 hours, we're not going to be able to give you everything. To give us an audience, take the time and do the study. Assign someone from your offices to be able to investigate this and find out what's really going on. To be able to say to the Biden administration, you need to pause right now and hear to all sides. We need that power to be able to say, slow down, let's hear more. So, and then in Kenya, one day the president came something, and the next day they ended up having a different information and saying, we stand by Ethiopia and we're not going to follow any other entities that are going to be said. So those are going to change. As soon as we have information, we are trying to push as much as we can the truths so that people can see where they need to stand. So thank you for asking that question. But most of the things that we've been asking, sometimes we are saying you are in a better position to be able to find all this information. And that's why we're trying to have this alliance with all of you. And don't ignore us. We'll remember it with everything that's happening in the US, because the power of America, America progresses. All of us are beneficial of all of those. Like I said, there is a reason why I joined the military, is because I love being an American also. So I'm speaking to all of you also as an American to be able to say, let's investigate the money. And we all know the cliche that's being said, follow the money and we'll find out the truth.
Thank you. And thank you. And I commit to listening and learning, and thank you for this opportunity. So appreciate it.
Absolutely. So just to add one more thing to what you had asked about the resolution itself. Well, that was the resolution that was passed against TPLF, just so you know. Now we're supporting it. But this government is supposed to sit across the table and negotiate with them. It just makes no sense. It's mind-boggling. It's just mind-boggling to me.
Well, we need to renew that resolution. Thank you so much.
Yes. Somebody had asked whether or not there's been a difference between the Trump's administration and this administration. I think Trump's administration had its own uniqueness. Let's just leave it as that. I think the policy, though, stayed the same from a bazillion years ago, from when Obama was president and prior to that. I don't think anything changed because TPLF, when they were in power for 27 years, didn't bother them. They didn't care about whatever else was happening as long as the money was flowing in and they were doing what they were doing. They were quietly doing what they wanted to do, which is building what they call or they consider the Great Tigray at the cost of innocent life. I doubt that they really care about the innocent life even living in Tigray, but that's what they say. 80% of the military was put in Tigray. A lot of the military hardware was in Tigray. Everything that you would assume a country would need was put in there. Can you tell me why? Can you just take a wild guess why? We all know why. This administration has done an amazing moving forward with the people behind it. And the reason why we're still there and we're still talking about it is because 100% of the population is standing behind this administration. We fought the previous administration for 27 years for a change. And I've been saying this, 98%, okay, I'll be generous, 95% of the population is standing behind the current administration. And I don't mean just the one person who sits in the office, but just the principles of the current administration. That's what we're supporting. And we're not shy from saying when it's wrong, it's wrong.
I'm going to go to Laura, but before I want to add one little things on it. For everything that you hear, we're not having a new conversation. I mean, like, it's not a new entity. TPLF has been there for 27 years. If they really didn't feel like as Ethiopians, or they really wanted to get apart, they had 27 years that they could have done that. They didn't do it. But now that they're not in power and they're not able to steal, they're not able to kill, now they're creating that chaos and having a different narrative. Where were you for 27 years that you could have used this platform to say it? When you had in power, you had the money, you had everything in control. TPLF is now new. They've been doing this for 27 years. Right now, they lost power. They want to get back to power. They're creating all this chaos. They have the money and they have the following of President Biden. Thank you. Laura, let me come to you.
Thank you very much. I appreciate the opportunity to be with you all today. I have three questions. So one, maybe a statement, and then a couple of questions. So your coalition, are you broader than just Colorado? That's my question. You have these types of groups in multiple states. Are you getting traction meeting with other representatives in other states? Because as we all move forward, we need to have a united front in the House or the Senate with additional people from other states and other situations. So that would be one of my questions. Mm-hmm. The other is kind of just a statement. I tend to see that the United States as a whole, when we interfere and interject ourselves into other countries' issues, that we tend to screw it up pretty well. I watch from the background a lot, and I see that, we should have just stayed away. We should have done something else. We should not have interfered. I really am a hands-off approach foreign policy person. That is my perspective. And so that brings me to my ultimate question is, if you could have an audience today, if you could sit down, your group of your leaders from all states, if you could sit down and have an audience with the administration today, do you have a solution that would fix it? What would you say to them if you could actually have their ear and you could say, today, this is what needs to be done. Listen to us. What would you say? So that we can then take that forward as well. And, again, I think a lot of times we just need to stay the heck out of other countries' affairs until we're asked for the proper help and then provide that proper audience.
Right. The first question, really, whether or not we're beyond Colorado, absolutely. This is everywhere. We have, like I said, the one thing that this thing that has done for us, the diaspora, the Ethiopian community here in the States and across the globe really is the nationalism. And yes, across this nation, all around the United States, the Ethiopian community has been mobilizing, has come together. We may have many groups, but the whole goal is the same. How do we make sure that what we watched happen in other countries is going to happen to Ethiopia? How are we going to make sure that this administration is not going to dismantle our country? So yes, just to give you the shorthand, we are.
Because I know you have the group in Virginia, and I just, I didn't know how big that is, because it seems effective to have everybody working together.
Yes. Yeah, we're working towards that. I mean, it's a huge community. Like I said, the West Coast is organizing, the East, and then so right now, since we really are organizing at a small scale, at this point, we all are saying the same thing you're saying. We all also need to come together at the end of the day with the one or two or three things that brings us together.
So on Sunday, the 21st, we have mobilized pretty much not only in the US, but Canada, Japan, all over the world. There will be a rally that's going to say no more of the foreign involvements to try to make this kind of policy, and no more to TPLF lies, whatever they're doing. So there is a big movement. We're trying to come together. And then most of the time we have tried to stay away from it also ourselves. But right now we have no choice but to get involved. I can no longer stand on the side and then just watch so many people die. And especially when the Biden administration right now is coming in and blatantly just supporting, giving financial support. Oh, okay. I think she shared it. As you can see, this is the No More Rally movement. And as you can see, all the states that are involved and then the different countries that are involved right now, where we're going to be on the 21st. And if you are able to join us, this is also a call to all of you to be able to be part of it, to ask the media to be able also to share this information, because this is the kind of thing that we are trying to get. And just to answer also, it's like having the voice, you asked a very, very good question. Do you have the solution, or what is your really big ask? Right now, the news media or the Biden administration might make you believe like the war is happening on Tigray. The war is not even in Tigray right now, because TPLF is outside Tigray and Afar and Amara region, killing, murdering, raping, and stealing. So all we ask right now, as much we don't want to feel like we have to negotiate with the terrorist group, is asking the TPLF troop to go back to Tigray. The question is about Tigray. So go in Tigray, stay there, and we will make sure to have like the government also ask for the ceasefire and the negotiation or whatever that needs to happen. Right now, TPLF need to take every single troop that they have outside from any other area and go back to Tigray. That would be the first big ask. And then you can all ask, put the pressure on the government, put the pressure on TPLF, and to be able to find out the truth, the pause part. Because right now, the war is not even in Tigray. The TPLF soldiers, aided by the Biden administration, are outside Tigray and then causing the war and causing havoc in the rest of the country. So that would be the biggest solution right now. If we can get them back to Tigray and have that communication, that would be a big part of it.
I think the biggest ask for me, if we were to have that opportunity, 30 seconds, what would it be? I want to see, I would ask the administration, Biden's administration, to stop referencing to TPLF as though they are government. They're not. We have an elected government. The population went out and voted. Okay, that's the government that we're supporting. But this administration continues to put them in that pedestal that makes them think, oh, we've got the Americans behind us, so we're just going to go crazy and do whatever. So I think the ask would be, stop it. They're not a government. We don't recognize them as governments. If anything else, they are a militant group. They are a terrorist group, not by just my admission. The American government actually had them registered as one. Another thing that I would ask also from this administration is, enough of the whole "we're concerned" false statement. Let's not continue to embolden them. All the sanctions, everything that's being put out against the Ethiopian government or the current administration, not a single statement was ever put out to demand TPLF stop the killing, even when the Ethiopian government actually did the ceasefire. Okay, because they continue to see statement after statement from the secretary, from other people that even went to Ethiopia, the African convoy that actually went there. What I would say is, let's just acknowledge the fact that Ethiopia is a sovereign country and cannot be treated any less than that. TPLF does not stand on any ground to be considered to sit next to a government and negotiate. Negotiate what? From TPLF in the recent months, and by the push of certain people here, the name has evolved to just TDF, because we've been raising our voices and saying, you literally are going out and issuing a statement about a TPLF, which you also recognize as a terrorist group. And then all of a sudden they are shying away from TPLF and now it's TDF. So I want to make you guys aware. It's not something else. It's the same group. It's just named itself differently because they don't want to be identified as a terrorist group. They just call themselves now TDF, Tigray Defense Force. How do you have a defense force when you have a defense force the country actually recognizes? Maybe you guys can explain to us. You think the American government will allow for another force to exist? That's the questions that we would ask. We would reverse this whole thing and say, would you allow it in your own country? And if you wouldn't, why would you ask another country to do the same? And why would they literally just put somebody that has no knowledge to be in the middle of this thing and say, oh, we just need to be across the table? Why? And we've raised this before. When the American government and the American people agree to sit across the table from ISIS and negotiate, maybe there might be a merit there, but as of right now, I doubt that is the case. So that's where we're at.
You will find out. TPLF right now is using children as soldiers. Mm-hmm. They are kidnapping kids from other places, giving them drug and putting them in front of the war. You would find out so many things that you will be disturbed, not only as Americans, but as humans, that you're going to say, why is the Biden administration so supporting this? We can't even understand it as a value, as anything. How much money can buy? This is when I definitely did realize. So we want to follow the money. We want to know where the money is coming and how much the support is coming. So we're just giving you a little bit of it. But when you dedicated, you say, we will listen, you will find out step by step what's going to the point you're going to say, I don't even know why we're having this conversation. Because this should have never been a choice that American president is picking TPLF over a government. And if it was something new, like someone that just came in today and said, I'm against the Ethiopian government, we would say, okay, there is a question to ask. But we know TPLF, they have been in power for 27 years. We have all the data. So we have everything in front of us, but we're just choosing to ignore it. And why? That's the question that we want to ask. Thank you. Lori, sorry, let me come to you.
It's okay. My connection is a little shaky. Hopefully I don't lose you by turning on the video. But so this raises a lot of questions, especially why is the Biden administration involved in this at all? But, especially when we're talking about child soldiers. And a couple of the questions that you raised, who are the right people? You're talking about getting the right people and getting their ear. That's a question we need to ask. And in politics, you always want to ask the question, who is benefiting? Where is the money coming from? And follow the money. So in the course of the conversation while listening, I did ask my congressman to, if he was interested in introducing a resolution to condemn what the Biden administration is doing,
yes,
the TDF. I've also asked my state representatives not to take away Representative Hank's thunder on that, because he's probably going to be doing that as well. But also, what lobbyists, if he could help me investigate what lobbyists may be benefiting from this, who is benefiting from this here in the United States? I think that's a question we really need to ask and really drill down on and investigate, because we need to identify who is getting aid and comfort to a group that's been named by the human rights organizations as horrific. This sounds like genocide to me. So that's the questions I have. If anybody can help me answer those questions or at least point me in the right direction, Obviously, we as candidates can use the bully pulpit to elevate this cause, but it would be even more effective if we could start harnessing our congressional representatives and senators currently and light a fire underneath them to start asking those questions, drilling down so that we know the answers to who's benefiting and where is the money coming from. And I think that will help, that'll go a long way to helping us solve this problem for you.
Thank you. I think you just said it right now. If there's anything else I didn't hear today, what you just said, that's just what we should do. That's exactly what we're asking, to introduce and oppose. And we're not even asking you to take side. I'll be very clear with this. It's just telling you to pose the Biden administration from everything that they are doing and said, we need to know the truth. Why are you so invested in this and spending so much money and resources of American dollars to this cause without understanding what's going on? We know TPLF, we know TDF. They've been in power for 27 years. The Ethiopian people voted them out and saying 27 years is enough. Why are you trying to put them back in power again? Why? That's the question that we want to ask. So thank you very much, Lori, for saying that. And then any information that we can give you, anything that we can work with, as long as you are giving us that floor, we will give you all of it and then work with you to put some kind of resolution in place to put a stop and question Biden from saying, I'm going to pause and I'm not going to get involved, because right now he's making all the wrong choices.
Right. So I think the one thing to add, maybe even more seriously and more urgent, is to try and kill this one bill, the AGWA sanction, so that Ethiopia can't be participating in trade. So there's another mind-boggling decision that somebody's making. If you know the country's already in some kind of situation, war is going on, we're talking about humanitarian needs, and we're concerned that people are going to starve to death and all that stuff, you would then stop the government from actually trying to help the people. That's what they just introduced that. As of January, they're going to try and sanction Ethiopia and take away the license from being able to participate in the whole trade thing. Those are the things that we're worried about, and we need somebody's attention right away and start to say, no, it just does not make sense. We are asking you to help us get to the right people so that we're standing behind you and providing you with the information that you need, with the proof and everything else. Those are the main concerns that we have. The country that's already being ravaged by war and already losing so much of its resources, putting another sanction in support of, once again, a terrorist group is just mind-boggling to me. It makes no sense. Who's benefiting from all this? I think there is a hidden agenda, as we all know it, from the time that Ethiopia started building the dam itself, the Renaissance Dam, the interest with Egypt, the interest with everything else, and China and India and everybody else coming close to, support Ethiopia economically in so many different ways. There's some agenda behind that. This war is a proxy war for this administration to gain some other thing. It's not necessarily absolutely caring about the people of Ethiopia.
One thing, you can do for us also, you do all have contact with the media. Even if they came in, if you tell them there are rallies happening right now on the 21st around the world and around the US, please go cover that. Find the voices for me to understand and be able to amplify. At least the news media starts also talking about what else is happening instead of killing it. So many of the newspapers are being told, and I'm assuming by the Biden administration, to tell only one story. At least if we can have the story to be told, we would be really appreciative of all of you to try to help us also, because there will be press releases and everything else that's going to happen in all those states on Sunday. And I'm so sorry that I've been late, Senator. Let me come to you.
Thank you so much, Yufate, as well as Mommy, for your time today in regards to this. And I'll try to be short because I'm running short on time as well, and I don't want to be redundant in a lot of statements made. But the one thing I want to make sure it's clear is that this isn't a Republican thing. This isn't a Democrat thing. I think this is truly a humanitarian thing. And just to piggyback on what Mommy was saying, it's confusing to me that after doing the research, because I believe in knowing about facts, I believe in knowing about honesty and exactly not just taking one side of the media or even taking the word of going on here. It's make sure that we understand exactly what's going on. And it's very confusing to me that Biden would put a restriction or a sanction regarding the African Growth and Opportunity Act. I think that only benefits TPLF in this scenario here. You're trying to sit there and stop this war or whatever is going on, the civil war that's going on with the country. It seems like common sense wise, this doesn't stop TPLF. This is an organization who's trying to overthrow a democratic elected government. And that doesn't help anyone. And the only people that get affected, obviously, is the citizens or the people of Ethiopia, which obviously that's where we're seeing this famine. We're seeing this horrific scenario here, which, as we were talking about, this goes into effect. And why are governments interfering with that? And why we're basically putting a restriction on, the American African Growth and Opportunity Act is bewildering to me. I'm trying to figure out and why. When we do have the opportunity to talk to the media, this needs to be relayed because this will not stop TPLF from coming in and trying to overthrow the government. And so I would love to be able to see all of us, whenever we have the voice of the microphone, be able to relay this. This doesn't do anything but actually hurt the people of Ethiopia. It restricts their economic growth. It restricts their ability to be, to have resources. And I appreciate everything you guys are doing. I would love to be able to work with you and continue this conversation even in private. So please let me know how we can be of help, because I have done a lot of research on this and it is heartbreaking. It's ridiculous that this is where we're at this point in time in this year-long civil war. And now it's just gonna be getting even worse now that America is actually putting this horrible sanction on Ethiopia. So by all means, I'll let you talk at this point in time, but I think that's probably one of our best avenues is to basically have that microphone to sit there and allow people to have the common sense. How does this benefit Ethiopia by doing this sanction? And I think once people are able to realize that, they'll sit there and say, okay, well, it's not a Republican or Democrat thing. This is actually a common sense thing. And what are we doing that's right or wrong? And so I'll stop right there. Like I said, I'm running short on time, but I would love to be able to have the opportunity to meet with you. We're going to have this conversation by phone or whatever else might be.
Absolutely.
Let you know I'm willing to help every way possible.
Awesome. And this is what we wanted. I mean, for every one of you, we all are all ears. We're ready. He said it day or night. We've been doing this. We're so appreciative and grateful of that. We are prepared to do whatever it takes. And I think you really nailed it right there in saying, whenever you have that microphone, amplify this for us. Amplify this and say, it's not even a party thing. It's a humanitarian thing. How do you take away something that is going to harm or cause even more harm, unless otherwise what you're trying to do is to actually break that country and force them to agreement? That's in my mind, that's what bullies do, right? You're just going to get bullied to what you think somebody ought to do, because if you don't do what I asked you to do, I take away what I know is going to hurt you the most. And I think that's what this administration is doing. So the question that resonates across the room again is, so why? Can you help us figure out why is this administration so adamant about not listening to the fact? What is it?
And we definitely appreciate you. So even if we can summarize it, what we're asking for is 1, kill the bill. 2, the Biden administration not to compare or equate a terrorist group to an elected government. And do not give TPLF, TDF the same kind of name and power to tell them that just like it's blackmailing. That's what they're trying and forcing them with whatever that they have to do. And then 3rd, with anything else right now, they're just trying to make sure, let's find out the truth. Has to be a balance somewhere. Where is the money coming from? Who's being funded? Who's benefiting from this? And the American people have the right to know, with everything that's happening by the Biden administration, why all this investment? Because we can find out all the 27 years investment TPLF has done, and there's payback in the back doors, money, lobbyists that are in place pushing all this agenda. How many TPLF people in the US have houses, bank accounts, laundering? They have nothing else to do. They don't have a job. They don't have anything. All day long, they are using US dollars sitting in the US here, pushing this agenda on Twitter and everywhere else on social media, because they don't have to work, because they stole enough money, and that money is sitting here in America and it's being funded right now, being used to attack not only the government of Ethiopia, but undermining the US policy by feeding wrong messages. We know how the social media works. We know the algorithm. You go in and create 10 fake accounts and you push fake information all day long, and you can swing as many people as possible as you want, because people read one line, two line, and they make a decision. They don't have time to research it. We understand all of you. You do the laws. You are representing the people. You read fact and you come up and say, this is what needs to happen. So this is why we're asking you, for all of you. And thank you, just like Senator, you and everybody else who says, personally, you're giving us your commitment to find out about the truth. And from anything else, if that's what we heard, that's exactly what we've been hoping for, to find out the truth, not take our side, but find out the truth and make a pause to the admin administration before they make any worse. So that you're going to be part of that history, that you're not going to be able to wake up a year from now, 2 days from now, and say, I wish I have done that. This is an opportunity for you to be able to do something about it, because Biden might come up in a day or 2 or 3, says, I'm declaring war. We're going to war with Ethiopia, or we're sending troops. Before that happens, you have the power. You have the chance to stop that. You've been here the whole time listening to all of us. So I just want to hear from each of you. I think, okay, so Jason, and then Jules, and then who else didn't speak? Senator Hawks, I think. So let me just give you time to speak a little bit, to say what you have. Go ahead. Jason.
I'm sorry. Hey, once again, thank you for having me today. I will say part of the area that I'm running in Arapahoe County, it's South Aurora. And I will say in Aurora, behind Hispanics, the Ethiopian community is the second largest community of foreign-born immigrants in Aurora. So I mean, it's a huge population. You know, and you matter. You have a voice. It's being heard here today, which is a start. You know, it's all we can expect is to get a start, and that's what we have. I just want to throw it out to you. If you need anything on a local level, from a county level, I'm willing to listen. I'll come to your community events, forums. I will come. So please keep in touch with me. I'll keep in touch with you guys and do anything I can to help you out. And once again, I really appreciate having me today.
Thank you. Thank you. We appreciate you. Jules, let me come to you.
Hi, you guys. Thank you so much for having me. And I am thrilled to learn about all of this that's going on. And I've actually been looking at my phone during this conversation on the No More hashtag, and I'm learning a tremendous amount. And this is quite a movement. I had no idea. So I really do appreciate the invite to be on this call today. And I'm really going to try to make the event on Sunday. I think it's important to show support. And then please do invite me and keep me involved in this conversation in the future. I'm happy to attend anytime and when I can. So again, thank you for having me.
We will schedule, and we have some candidates have other meetings. So I'll email at you guys and we'll follow up, but thank you for the information. It's very important. So thank you.
Awesome.
Thank you again, all of you, for attending today. We want you to stand by the truth and think about the people. There are real people dying at this moment while we sit here and trying to argue what the President Biden is doing. So we thank you very much for your time, and please go in and listen, and then tell us how you can get involved and how we can change this course so that the truth can prevail. We bless you, and all of you who can, please attend the rally on Sunday.
Yes.
And wish you all a blessed day.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
God bless.
Thank you for staying with us. Don't forget to subscribe, like, and share.